What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean yet again, but talk about it more of a personal kind of way, talking about just me missing the franchise. You know, I've done these videos a few times for different games that are kind of trapped in this limbo state, and, you know, just what that feels like to have something that I love so much just be stuck. And I thought, well, you know, I've never actually done it for Pirates of the Caribbean. Look, like, Pirates is... It's such an important thing to me, and it's actually sometimes almost forgettable what it means to me because of the spot that it's in. Like, it's insane to think about that. Like, this upcoming May, I believe, we're going to be hitting 9 years since the last Pirates movie. So even if they get this thing, you know, we always talk about the news and the rumors and of Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom and all this stuff. Even if they start filming next year, and even if the movie comes out, maybe say 2027, I mean, you could get it to come out like that 10 years after the last one. And by the way, the last one, Dead Men Tell No Tales, came out 6 years after On Stranger Tides, which came out 4 years. So we're always, like, these things are just longer and longer. I mean, they started almost back-to-back, 2 and 3, obviously, like that. But the last 15 years we've gotten 2 movies, right? Versus like that first 10 years you got all 4. So it's insane when I think I put it in that scope. But that's why, you know, sometimes I forget, like, this is my favorite movie franchise, period. I talk about Scream so much on this channel, and I'm very happy to, and I love doing it, and that's probably second, third, fourth, somewhere in that top. But I've always said Pirates is number 1, and Pirates has just not been around. Like, I get so sad, but also very happy, almost energized for the day that I'm eventually able to do stuff. I know there's several Pirates of the Caribbean creators that have held down the fort far better than I ever could, you know, and there are people that do weekly videos, monthly videos, and people that have been around a very, very long time. I've been around a very long time, but, you know, I primarily in this, I didn't think it'd be so long in between movies. I have ideas. I have things that I want to make Pirates of the Caribbean related, and that does get me energized, and that does keep me hopeful, because when the next movie comes out, you know, I always say it with like a Sly Cooper or some of my most favorites, you know, gaming franchises, or Scream. I think I've shown myself, I think I've shown others, you know, the kinds of fun times we can have together, the fun videos that we can do when we're leading into a Scream movie. There's kind of nothing like it for me, the lead up to a Scream movie. The lead up to Pirates 5, like, I was around, this channel was around. We have, I think, 100 plus videos on Pirates. It was incredible, but I also didn't know what I was doing, and it was also 2 years into the channel, and I was 20 years old, and it just, you know, it was so different, and it was so foreign to me, and I feel like I'm so much, and that's, by the way, that's more of like the content side. I mean, that can connect to my love, because I think I have so many things, like, I like to just speak, and I like to talk about, and you know, my family doesn't really care about Pirates, and that's okay, but, you know, like, I want to be able to share that with other people, and I know there's other people out there. You know, this franchise is massive, even though it's been dead for 8 years. The franchise, the fandom is there. They're just dormant, right? They're all sleeping, and I think they're ready to wake up very, very shortly. But then in terms of just, you know, my love for it, I mean, in the last couple months, I've followed a lot of Pirates creators, primarily on Twitter, okay? And what that has done to me is, I think, messed up the algorithm, but messed up in a good way, not necessarily a bad way. I see so many tweets about Pirates of the Caribbean. I see so many clips of the Golden Age. And funny enough, I don't see a lot of clips on like Pirates 5 or 4. 4 ages, I think, rather well, to be honest with you. But I see a lot of clips on Pirates 1, 2, 3. Now, 3, as I've always, 3 is my personal favorite, so I chose that background. Great background. 3 is probably my favorite movie of all time. I've watched Pirates 3 perhaps 30, 40, 50 times. I've lost count at this point. And, you know, to a lot of diehard fans, that's maybe not a lot, but you have to understand, like, for me, if I watch a movie 2 times, it means that, you know, it's in the top 100 immediately of, like, films all time. I don't watch movies, specifically movies, you know, games I've struggled for a long time as well, but movies, you know, if I watch it a bunch of times, that means, like, Scream, Harry Potter, Star Wars, like, when I if I've watched a franchise a bunch, chances are it's one of my favorite franchises ever. So to watch Pirates 3, it's got to be at least 30, probably in the 50, 60, 70 range. To do that means that it's my favorite movie of all time, to be honest with you. But it just means the world. You know, the music is incredible. It takes me back, even like visually. I know a lot's been made, and I normally see it be brought up in that way, where it's like, oh, well, visuals were so much better, and still some amazing visual effects and stuff that happen nowadays. But I mean, like Davy Jones always gets brought up, right? Some of the ship fights will always get brought up. You see just how legendary. And here's the thing, I am very proud. And I'm not even proud, because I guess I literally grew up in it. Like, there's nothing I could have done to change that course of history, right? But like, I did appreciate it at the time. And I think that's something that makes me like rather sad, almost makes me tear up. But it's something that I see so much now, because I feel like a lot of people, at least that I see on social media, it's only a bubble, you know, of the people I see. But I see a lot of people that did not, and are willing to admit it, did not appreciate Pirates for what it was. You know, I see a lot of posts saying, name an underappreciated film, or a film we didn't kind of recognize the greatness of at the time. And, you know, when that happens, that is where I see a lot of Pirates 2 and 3 love. And that I'm very happy about, because my two favorite Pirates movies are 3 and then 2. That's my top 2. And then 1. It goes 3, 2, 1 for me. And I know I'm in the minority there, because 1 generally is everybody's favorite, but it makes me very happy when I see people kind of correcting history, right? Kind of saying, and all these movies did so freaking well, right? Really, none of them did bad. 5 made just under 800 million, which was considered a failure, even though, you know, 800 million. Do you know how many studios would line up to get 800 million right now? But, you know, at the time, On Stranger Tides does over $1 billion. At World's End, I think, almost hits $1 billion, and Dead Man's Chest does, over $1 billion. So you had basically 3 movies that did $1 billion back to back to back. So 800 million is a little bit of a disappointment, but you know, like it's incredible, and I do love to see that, because I do think at the time Pirates was regarded as, it was this fun little experiment. Well, it was a fun experimental type thing that made a lot of money. Critics did not like it. Critics have, beyond Pirates 1, critics have never liked a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, right? But, you know, even other people, it was kind of the general talk that I had always seen online, even around Pirates 5, is that it was Pirates 1 and then all the other ones. You know, there wasn't a lot of redeeming qualities, even though I always knew, like, I love 2 and 3, and 4 started to age well. I remember at the time, 4 disappointed me, 5 disappointed me, and 5 hasn't aged well. I think 4 has aged well, but, you know, it's good to see kind of this turnaround where it's like, no, I think we're at least willing to say that trilogy, and that's what makes me happy too, like, the amount of people that say that Pirates trilogy is one of the greatest trilogies of all time, that makes me very happy. The people that say Pirates at World's End was the Infinity War before, or like that saga. I guess Dead Man's Chest was Infinity War, and then At World's End was Endgame, and that was that arc of Marvel before Marvel did it. And I truly believe that. I mean, it was another level and just a bigger scope than anything you could ever imagine. And it did that kind of coming together thing, and ending on a loss, 2 ending on a bad note, for 3 to be kind of bringing everybody together against a common goal. It's literally Infinity War. I mean, that's the blueprint for Infinity War and Endgame. Not saying they stole from Pirates, although I think it would actually be rather cool if they ever said that, because that would just kind of maybe add more validation to how good those movies are. Point being, I know this has been kind of a long just bouncing all over the place, but these movies mean the world to me. I will say these movies mean actually more to me than I can say, and maybe one day I will be able to say, but you know, they're so important, so freaking important to me. And again, it's sometimes like I forget about that. Sometimes I think about my favorite movies, or I think about movies that are coming up, and like, you know, Pirates is never mentioned, and, you know, like Harry Potter is getting, now it's maybe not in the greatest spot, but getting the reboot, you know, show thing. Scream is honestly more alive and more active than maybe since 1996, 7, and 2000, right? Like, it's doing extremely well, and it's alive. So Scream is active, you know. Star Wars, it's definitely active. I don't know if it's active in a good way, but you have all this movement, and, you know, Pirates has just been dormant for 8 years, and it's like, but that's my favorite one. And it's, I don't know, I've always had them. I will always have all of my memories of 1 through 5. Like, I didn't watch 1 in theaters. I watched 2 in theaters. And each one of them, I have my memories. I have the history, in my head. And I love them so much. And I have so much to say about them. And, it makes me happy, finding other people that are into it. And again, like I've said, just kind of meeting people online that have held down the fort as well as they have. I want to jump in and I want to be a part. I want to wait just a little bit longer, but I'm very excited. And it's why I get so pumped, even if there's just a Johnny Depp rumor, because every Johnny Depp rumor is one step closer to a new Pirates movie. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.